How old were you and how did you decide that you wanted to get involved in umpiring?
I was in my final year of high school and the boys needed someone to volunteer to stand at the end and wave the flags, and I thought, well, get out of class, that sounds pretty good. I absolutely love footy, was just pretty obsessed with it at that stage, and thought what a great way to be involved. Following year, started studying at uni and decided I'd earn some extra cash on the weekends and just started goal umpiring. I trained as an umpire in the local competition up in Brisbane for about 5 years, and that was pretty serious. We trained twice a week and then had games on the weekends, and eventually there was a spot that opened up on the AFL list. I was sort of aware that I was getting looked at and it potentially could fill the role that had opened up, but didn't really expect the call. So when Jeff called me this particular day, I seriously kind of lost it. I hung up and just rang my dad straight away and just said, the AFL have offered me a contract, and I was kind of running around the house very excited. So had to wait a couple of months before I had my first game, but in the meantime, I can remember actually getting my tracksuit with the AFL logo on it in the post, and I wore it around the house for about a week. I was just really excited.
And there she is, on guard, on duty.
Now you're the only female that's on the umpires list in the AFL. Pretty impressive achievement.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, look, I don't really think too much about it. Obviously, it's something that does get picked up a lot, and it's a little bit of a novelty, sort of being the girl out there. I go out and put my flags in the posts, and usually get a few hellos from the crowd, and there is that aspect where people know who you are a little bit more. But I think for me, it's always been a real thing where I'm really determined to prove that I've earned my spot, and I just want to train as hard as the boys do, and make sure that I'm doing the job to the best of my ability.
She's got a spot on again, Dermot. She was in the perfect spot again there.
And umpires tend to cop a fair bit of abuse. Do you cop abuse, and how do you cope with that?
Yeah, from time to time, and it's interesting. Occasionally, you do get comments that aren't very original, and maybe like to touch on the fact that you're a female in a male domain. You got to learn to flick those away. But look, more often than not, I'm actually quite surprised. Sometimes I go out, and people ask for my autograph and things like that, and I think, oh, hang on, I'm sort of prepping myself to get a bit of a mouthful or get abused, and people actually just want to say hi.
Now, what's actually involved in being an umpire? Can you run me through sort of a typical week?
A typical week during the season comprises of 2 sessions. The first one will be like a fitness session where we'll do a little bit of endurance work, a bit of speed and agility. You've got to be on your toes in a game. You need to be able to react really quickly to what the ball's doing, to reading the play, get out of the way of the players, all that sort of stuff. So that's where the speed and agility comes in. And then we spend another night where we spend a fair bit of time doing a video review. So we'll look at decisions from the weekend's games and look at the positioning, what the umpires have done to read the play in that situation.
So we're on point line for that contest, and forward defender, it's a little bit out.
The video review system has been brought in this year. What do you think about that?
Once you have a review, you sort of realise how nice it is just to have a bit of a backup. Obviously, we still need to do our job 100%. We still need to be absolutely sure of what we're doing, but to know that if you're ever in a situation where perhaps you have a niggling doubt about what you've seen, you've got a chance there for the replay to be accessed, which is really nice because things just happen so quickly.
Outside of umpiring, what do you do?
Well, I work full-time as an editor and writer, so I edit a magazine at the moment, Fernwood Fitness magazine.
What do you love most about your job?
I love just being in the best seat of the house, really. You're just front and centre for all the action. I've always been a massive footy fan, so to be literally metres away from amazing marks and goals and just magical skills, I just love it. And sometimes there are moments where something will happen right in front of you and you just think, how cool is this? Just to be right here, it's awesome.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure, thanks for having me. Don't be afraid to go high with the arms. Yeah, that's better. That's good. And once you've done that, Catherine, once you've done that, then you just want to